Okay, everybody, you heard the rumblings of two gentlemen next to me. I can't tell you how excited I am to do this. The emails today, after I sent out what was happening tonight, I was actually quite surprised, touched, taken. But I'm not going to introduce these two fucks just yet. They are super, super guys. You're all going to know them as soon as I say their names, obviously. But yeah, great soccer players. Great human beings. I'm happy that they're here tonight. You have some meat, some cheese, some bread, and maybe a little coffee later after the wine. We don't know. But tonight's episode is special because we're not only talking to these two gentlemen, we're going to be talking about what it means to be in diaspora, a special diaspora inside this ironic country of ours, playing the most beautiful sport on this planet. And I have a lot of questions for these two guys, and I'm going to start on my left, and then I'm going to go on my right. The first guy I'd like to introduce, every soccer player has, in my generation, knew who he was. All the old guys that are listening, they knew him as an up-and-comer. They knew him as the greatest, and I'm happy to say it. He is the greatest goalie I've ever seen, I've ever had the pleasure of playing with. He is the omnipresent character on the soccer field. Great leader and a great representative for the Italian community, Dominic Roma. Dominic, thank you for coming.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks for having me.
So, no problem. The guy on my left, again, if you could see him, needs no introduction. Handsome guy, not to say that Dominic isn't, but he's always clean cut. I think my girlfriend said something one time and I told her that you were gay. But again, he's omnipresent at the Chicharro Club. He's always around over 30. When he was in his heyday, he was always playing for the non-Italians, but he was always playing, and bounced around a little bit in Rose City. And I think he's grateful that he had an opportunity with several clubs, and to know him is to love him. No other than Jay Mastrogiacomo. Jay, what a dais we've got here.
Hold on a second. I'm the gay monitor. Dominic's the gay monitor.
Listen, whenever my girlfriend thinks that some guy is good looking or handsome, immediately my only retort is he's gay. So immediately the interest is dropped. So listen, guys, I like to start off with a lot of our podcasts with a quote, with an anecdote. I want to see how Italian you guys are. And I'm going to give you this beautiful, short but sweet quote that I found about Italy. I want to see if you know who wrote it, but most importantly, see if you understand what he was trying to say, because if I try to do it, I'll end up in knots. You can have the universe if I can have Italy. Who said it? Don, we'll start with you first. Care to venture?
Well, let me start off by saying, I've listened to your podcast with Chad Waite and with Manu Sego. Mm-hmm. Have you had another one? The two of them?
I did one for my brother on his birthday, but I haven't made it public yet.
Oh, okay, very good.
Yeah.
So kudos to Rob. I think you do a wonderful job, and we need more people like you in this community to promote the great game soccer and promote Windsor. So thank you, Rob.
You're very kind. I'll pay you later. Thank you, Don. Thank you.
You already have, Rob. You already have. So that quote, that's interesting. Is he Italian?
He's Italian.
Is it Giuseppe Garibaldi?
Oh, you almost had it. You almost had it with the first name. And I'll give you guys a hint. His name is present, or used to be present, in Essex County in the form of a club.
Verdi.
Giuseppe Verdi.
Giuseppe Verdi.
Famous Italian composer. What do you mean by that? You guys are two of the most Italian guys I've ever met. You're so proud to be Italian. I love that. I absolutely love that. You both have been to Italy. What does he mean by that? You've tasted it.
Thank you. That's a good question. I think you know exactly what he meant. What I think he meant. Italy's a very interesting country. it has many dialects, and it also has, you can go skiing in Italy and you can go to the beach all in the same season. So it's very unique. I think it's quite the mosaic in the sense it's almost a different culture from north and south, and it's a different way of life. So I do believe you get a variety by never leaving a country.
Mm-hmm.
And what he's trying to say is, Italy intrigues me, and I can spend a lifetime trying to figure it out. You can have the universe,
But I just want Italy.
but I just want to.
That's beautiful. I find it so touching. What do you think he means by that, Jay?
Kind of like what we were talking about before.
What do you mean?
When you showed up, I really can't add to anything you said.
Gotta change it up.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna start asking some inter-Roma questions. quickly.
Yeah.
Look, I've been to Italy a number of times myself, and I've been all over from Venice to the Colosseum in Rome. Excuse me. To the small towns of Ceccano, Frosinone, Patrica, Frosinone, and if you're in a small town, there's a lot of culture in a small town. You in a big city like Roma, a lot of history and a lot that went on there. And the thing about Italy, and actually there was a documentary on the History Channel that I seen the other little while ago, is that without the Italian people, the culture, the documentary was basically on where would the rest of the world be, and how the amount of innovation that happened in Italy first, the sewer systems in Rome, the banking, the list just went on and on. So just like any other country, with any due respect to all the other countries, not saying that Italy is the best or anything like that, because every country is got its own, but you have to be proud, and there is quite a lot to do there, from skiing and going to the beach in the same season. So we have to be thankful that we have that to go to.
I love that. I absolutely love it. So, okay, let me preface this. Growing up around haggis, sing-songs, scotch, empanadas, red wine, tango, Maradona, I know full what it's like to be born as what do you call it? A second generation Canadian or first generation Canadian? My parents both come from different countries, and I
think we'd be first generation.
Is it first generation?
Our kids are second.
I love the fact that I can dive into my Canadianness whenever I wanted to, especially when I'm outside the country. But while you're here, it's a strange dichotomy. While you're here, you have your own identity. As soon as you bring that passport with you, you feel, some people feel uber Canadian. But when you're here, what is it? To me, for the largest diaspora that Windsor has specifically, the Italians are everywhere. What was that like growing up in both of your communities, whether it was a regional thing, whether it was an Italian thing? Did you feel safe? Did you feel comfort? Did you always have that something to hold on to always beat it into you? Hey, I'm Italian. I gotta be proud of this. This is who I am. Dom, go for it.
Well, yeah, Dom, you go, and
Okay.
I'll go. It don't matter to me.
Sure. That's a good question. I think it's part of you, right? I mean, you were born very proud to be Italian, and I don't think it was thrown in your face. You're Italian. You're Italian.
Mm-hmm.
I just think you are what you eat. You are what your culture is, right? From this is it. The Italian culture is very similar to it's in Roman Catholicism is the base of it, right?
Right.
From eating at the table together, from sharing your bounty to your neighbor, to your paisan, to a stranger, to going to church, to eating with your family on Sundays, to watching soccer. I mean, there's songs about it, La Domenica Italiana. So it wasn't like you're Italian and you're the best, or you're Italian and you're this, and you got to be proud because you're Italian. That's what we knew, and I think you grew up and then you said, "Hey, oh, that's Italian."
So you were
thought I was living in
cognizant.
Canada, but
Yeah.
it was interesting. I don't think it was they're different or I'm different. I think it was just
Yeah.
a way of life. Does that make sense?
It makes
I'm not,
perfect sense. I go back
I
to
couldn't
this.
differentiate between a Canadian and Italian, so to speak. Because maybe I
Okay.
was surrounded by more Italians than not. I don't know,
Right.
but I didn't look for the differences. I just,
Right.
I don't know. I didn't stress that. I just,
I'll give you an example. Valerio Mascaro.
Yeah.
Right. He was a goalie for Holy Names High School, and anything other than a hamburger and a fucking hot dog, people had a shit fit over. Like, what are you eating? What is this? I remember one practice because the Mascaros can eat anything and perform. Right. They're like big giant beasts, those two. And I remember he had a big piece of I don't know, it was capocoggio or salami,
Sure.
and it was cured. Right. So it was tough. So we're going on a run. We're warming up. Steve, Vanini, and Marcello are the coaches. And I see them going into Valerio's bag, and they're cutting up. But Valerio's running, right? And I remember Steve Yole going, "What the fuck is that in your mouth?" And Valerio goes, "It's sausage." And he goes, "It looks like cancer." I remember everybody turned around and looked at him, and they were ready to beat Steve Yole over the head because Valerio didn't give a shit who was saying what. Who was doing that? I'm hungry. I need something to eat before training. I'm having that. Go fuck yourself. This is what I'm eating.
right.
So all the rest of the Canadians are like, oh, okay, that's the way it is. But I'll tell you, if it were me,
But
having a piece of
that's a
milanesa,
good. That's a good. I think. Yeah, I didn't really. Yeah.
he didn't care.
No.
And if it were, I would have cared.
But I never got insulted because it was different. I think when we grew up, Rob, it was already mainstream Italian culture.
Yeah.
So whether it's Gavir, a good friend of mine, he would eat prosciutto, and vice versa. We would eat ourselves. It wasn't like
Right.
scandalous or different.
You weren't
It was just-
ostracized because of it.
No, absolutely not.
Guys, I hate to cut you
Yeah.
off, but I traded a guy in grade
Yeah.
school, Michael Jordan rookie card, mint condition, for a mortadella sandwich.
Yeah.
Like, I cringe when I seen kids eating peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I didn't eat that, Rob. That's
Oh.
but I mean, yes. But he's so right.
To Dom's point, every culture has got their, and everyone should be proud of their culture.
Mm-hmm.
We came here. Well, no, you didn't come here. We were born here, first generation Canadians, and you know what you got at home, and like any young children now, you see your children now. They are like you. They know what they've got at home, and that's the foundation
You're right.
that you have, that
You're
you
right.
had growing up. And yeah, there were tomatoes in the backyard. There was wine on the table,
Right.
and your father got up every morning and he went to work,
Mm-hmm.
and he worked hard. And he always taught you work hard, and you if you want something, you go and you get it, but you don't cheat for it. You work hard to get it. And is that an Italian value? That's just a human value. It just happened to be a lot of the value that
Yes.
were instilled with us.
Right.
And people tend to hang around people that are like them. You know what I mean? And if we found ourselves hanging around people that were like us, if they were Italian, if they were Indian, if they were
Sure.
Lebanese, if they were Argentinian, it doesn't matter. You put yourself around people that you want to be around. And hardworking people are going to put themselves around hardworking people.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is.
Very well put. My dad used to
Yeah.
brag about people he knew that worked the hardest. He loved
Yeah.
somebody who worked hard. And
That's a good point.
yeah, he absolutely loved it. Didn't care what banner they flew under.
Yeah.
He loved it. So
You're
that's a
right,
great
Ron.
point, actually.
Back in grade school, all the kids that had peanut butter and jelly sat at the same table.
I get it.
No, you know what
I
I mean?
completely
No, it's
understand.
off topic there.
So let me ask both of you this. But both of your fathers are unbelievable guys. Amazing characters.
Thank you.
As soon as I see your
And my
dad,
mother too.
you know what? Yes, and you know what?
Yes,
Who-
I knew you.
I
the mothers have to be the saints, right?
no, the mothers are the saints, and you know what? And this is by way of my girlfriend too. I'm all about equal rights. You can call me a feminist. They say if you are for equal rights, you by default you are a feminist. So we obviously, yeah, you're right. We can't forget the women. I just have this predetermined notion in my head that you guys learned so many values from your moms and a different set of values from your fathers.
Yes.
And I've seen your fathers the most. And whenever I see your dad around the soccer field, I used to see him obviously all the time. brought a biggest smile.
Yeah.
And with your dad, he would just make me smile and crack up because the first thing he would do is say, Robe, look how fat you are. And it was sheer honesty. And I love it. But no, it's serious too. He's a genuinely awesome guy. Just a great guy. So what, in terms of soccer, not just the Italiano inside you, but soccer. So I'm imagining your moms weren't out there hitting a ball with you. In terms of soccer, what did they do for you guys in terms of teaching or pushing?
You go, Rob. Tocca a Jay. Vai.
Well,
Hai deve parlare sempre qua.
don't know. I just try to be nice because, like we said before, we're just going to agree.
Sorry, there's no yin to the yang on this show.
You know, I'll tell you what. What I learned from my father was be honest and work hard. Okay, he never. This is a true story. He never played. He never played. He was never one of them old timer players from the '70s or things like that. You know, but he was always involved with soccer clubs, whether it was like he cuts the grass now at the Chicharo Club, lines the fields. To back when he was with you guys at Rose City, you know, he was involved with Hugo at Rose City. He was on the board somehow. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it was vice president or something at the time when you guys were hot and heavy with Rose City, and you know, he did a lot of stuff behind the scenes. And I always said those guys in soccer, those guys in sport, for any in this city and anywhere in the world, they're the most important people, because without those people there, you don't play.
Right.
You don't play.
Yep.
You know, so and again, yeah, he used to come and we have between me and my two brothers, as you know, Joey and Greg also play. We were always at a park, and he was always kicking the ball with us, and he was always pushing us, and nothing was ever good enough. But that's the personality, right?
Sure.
Every personality is different, but he's a good person to have in soccer because he give everything for free, everything off his back, and that's one of the trait that I and my brothers will always, and anyone close will always, if they could take something off him, you know.
Right.
So
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I didn't know that your dad didn't play. I have more respect for him now than I ever did because
no, my father never. You think of the guy. I mean, I was fortunate growing up in a family where my uncle was a very good soccer player coming over. My cousins were very good soccer players. My uncle in Italy he passed away a few years ago, but when he was here, he played with Italia and all them. So soccer was always around, but my father just never. He came here. He was 16 years old, and he just worked.
Sure.
Right? So it was just one of those things, right?
Sure.
I mean, but you know, but that's the way it is.
So in terms of the soccer stuff, your brothers, your dad got you into it and then pushed you hard.
Well, sports was always around our house, whether it was hockey or football or a baseball bat or whatever. It was road hockey across the street. We lived across the street from a crescent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, not a crescent, but a court where and it was always a road hockey game going on there in the wintertime, and then it was baseball in the summer, and then it was the park in Forest Glade in the summertime.
Sure.
But the kids lived, the guys lived in Forest Glade, so we were always active with something.
Right.
Soccer just it took the interest, right? I mean, it just took the interest, and we just. Especially at our time. At our time, there were a lot of kids playing, a lot of teams, a lot of leagues. Well, not a lot of leagues, but a lot of teams in the league.
There was something
always going on.
Always.
So yeah.
You
know.
And what about you guys? What about the Roma clan?
I think I just want to piggyback off what Jay said there. I think you appreciate, you know, what your Tonys, Mastrogiacomo, Mr. Mastrogiacomo did. I think your Rick Cluses, Dave Sparks. God
bless Dave Sparks. Yeah.
Here's the Dave.
Yes.
Here's the Dave Sparks.
So, I think these guys, you appreciate it when you get older, right? What they did for us. So.
Absolutely.
Well,
absolutely. It's
you know, Dom, not to get off topic about anything, but I mean, let's put things in perspective for a second without getting off topic.
Sure.
I mean, I'm playing right now with Chicharo B team. Under their kids are 20 years old. Okay, there's 5 teams in the league.
You're playing.
I'm playing. I know it sounds far-fetched, but I'm involved with them and I'm playing.
No, it's not far-fetched. It's kind of like sad. Not to say you're a good player. At 39, 39 anni, ancora giochi per 20 anni.
Well, I also play with the over 30s, so
good.
I enjoy to play. That's not the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
The point I am trying to make is the teams that go there, they don't have a coach. You got
Who doesn't have a coach?
the teams don't have a coach.
The A teams and the B teams.
The A teams and the B teams now don't have coaches, and again, it's those people like you said, the Tonys, the Ricks,
Yeah.
the Dave Sparks,
Yeah.
that they got involved and
That's
they
right.
did something for the community.
That's
Now you go to a game and you have a team there with no coach.
I didn't know.
Are you done playing? Did you play 10? My turn to go in. There's no, and you go to appreciate even Pedro with the Windsor Serbs. I wish I knew his last name, but when I played with the Windsor Serbs, it was like Pedro, the body shop on Walker Road.
Oh, yeah.
Salt of the earth, that
Yeah.
guy. Uniform, give you money to go somewhere, food after a game, drive you to the tournament. I mean, guys like that just don't. They
Wow.
just don't. They just don't come around anymore.
Yeah.
So to Dom's point, to piggyback off Dom, you have to appreciate the guys that put the time in.
That's right.
That don't play but put the time in to be there.
Absolutely.
So
You're right.
Well, I can certainly agree to that. There's, like you guys were saying before, you're Polish, Czech, Serb, Croatian, Italian,
Yeah.
Hispanic. There was always somebody there. Let's just hope that we can carry that forward. Somebody can find more spare time when they get retired and keep doing their thing. But hey, listen, the next thing I need to ask.
Do you want me to say what my father did? Or?
I'm sorry.
Oh, no,
absolutely.
no.
No, because I almost skimmed over.
sorry, I didn't mean.
This is my lack of experience as a podcaster. Go
I'm not
ahead.
offended. That was a good question. So my father never played the game. My mother never played the game.
Mm-hmm.
But I almost think my like I gotta say, well, my father, and my mother. What happened is we used to live in Windsor, Windermere, and when I was 8 or 9 years old, so we moved to Tecumseh, and my dad was always looking for a big land because he wanted a beautiful garden, and my mom as well. So we went to Tecumseh, and it was like near 42 off of Westmont, so there were ditches and like one street light. So we went from city to like the county overnight. And my dad made the promise he'd pay, not a swimming pool, not like a frickin' whatever, hot tub, what else they got, these kids. But he said, I'll build you a soccer field. So that summer, he got 4x4s and big nails, built us a soccer field.
Unbelievable.
And this soccer field, sure enough, it got used to the point where, there was grass and the goal crease was like mud. That's how much we played on it. We played right around, that's a lot, not to say, right?
Yeah.
And now if you go back there, it's all grass again, and you're looking, you're like, holy smoke. So that thing,
The field is still there.
oh yeah, my dad doesn't want it. People were like, my dad, no, my good for the grandkids.
Sure.
My parents. So, so he facilitated it, and they brought us places, like, but, I love him for it. Don't push your kids like parents do today. And I'm a parent, and maybe I do too, because I coach my kids, so indirectly I push them. Probably a lot more than my parents did. But I don't mean to, but I'm sure I do.
Mm-hmm.
But these guys just brought us and literally just watched or whatever, went home. And their coaches said they played or not. And it was never like, Dad, Mom, the coach is not playing me because he doesn't like me. I knew why I didn't play, and I knew why I played from the get-go. So kudos to my parents, kudos to the coaching staff and into the system, because I think it did work to teach you accountability,
Right.
to teach you how to play a game and the rules of the game. If you miss practice, you don't play. If you're late for practice, you run. When you come to practice, you have to come early because you have to set up the mesh.
Right.
Right, et cetera, et cetera. When you leave practice, you have to take down the mesh and put the pegs in the box and bring it to
Teach
the
it,
coach's car.
accountability, teach it, yeah.
Agabid. So the lessons that I got from soccer and my parents is similar to school. You go to school and, hey, these are the rules, and you got to play by the rules and appreciate that. So my parents weren't necessarily, soccer rules and go. You got to score, you got to do well.
No.
But they're more, hey, I'm going to bring you to practice, and I'm going to bring you to your games. And you're going to Toronto, and if you need $75 or $50 or whatever it may be, but then you start, working as well. But Mom and Dad were always there as well. They helped you that way. So, I think they did support you in soccer. They not necessarily from a technical aspect,
You're right.
from
The support,
facilitated
a
it,
whole
the support,
different
yeah.
support unit. It was unbelievable.
I remember like Cincinnati tournament. I remember I had my uncle's wedding. He was getting married, and I was gonna go, and then my mom and dad are like, you can't go. It's my brother's wedding. And it was on Saturday. Pert Plus Classic in Cincinnati.
I remember that.
Got like this shampoo, they sponsored it.
Yeah.
It was a pretty big deal. So I was like this on Wednesday, and they told me I was crying. I had to call Rick Clues, and I called him on the phone. I'm like 15, mind you. You don't cry after 15, but I cried. And I was like, Rick, I can't go to the tournament. And he saw that. He saw it in my voice. And he's like, it's okay. Hey, it happens. But he knew right there and then that, he knew all along. He didn't have time that I would eat grass to play. Mm-hmm. And he knew that for me not to play,
it was hurting.
It was a big deal.
Yeah.
And he understood.
Yeah.
But I remember that, So, those are just things, right? Thank God. I couldn't have done it without my parents for sure.
Right.
And I'm sure you, Jay, the same way, right? All of us, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's
a
a nice kudos that you're giving to Rick Clues there as well.
Rick, all my coaches, Miss Laura Romano, John.
Oh my God! I keep forgetting that they coached that.
Yeah,
that
the
team
tall
for
coach
so
is
long.
fantastic. And it's funny because you talk about your parents didn't spend a lot of money, and I know they didn't, but they kind of did, really, right?
The travel, the gas, the hotel rooms.
If you put things in perspective, and maybe not like today, when they go to the States and all that, but to back then, maybe it was a lot too, right?
That's the thing.
Because I think playing with Nationals was expensive.
Oh yeah, I mean every other weekend you're going to Toronto.
You're in Toronto.
It was insane.
We could have been like in a month every week.
Yeah, and the season went from May until late August, sometimes September.
Well, how many games did we play?
Oh, I remember one season with FC we played 32 games.
Okay, so how many of those were in Windsor? That's 16 games.
Right around 50. It had to be around 50%.
So you're going to Toronto 8 times.
2
months you're in Toronto.
And we had an Ontario Cup run and an OSL Cup, and then the league. I was exhausted, and we were doing that while we were playing high school.
There you go.
Right, because every one of us, we're in grade 9, we're playing in high school.
I remember.
So I mean, there was no junior team and senior teams back then. At least they weren't in the city. So I mean, you were going right, and there's no pity at the club level.
No. And registration was high for Nationals, I remember.
Yeah, I remember it. $250. My dad's eyes almost fell out of his head.
Look at it now.
Now look at Vardar, and we thought we were cheap, right? $1,250 Canadian as opposed to $3,000 American. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean that's.
So everybody's like,
incredible.
"Oh, it's expensive." You know what? It's all relative.
It is.
I think our parents paid money too.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. Okay. So, guys, the next thing I want to go to, the motivation factor. Both of you guys were into soccer, seen a long time, and to give you an example, for me, I had 2 motivators. My dad constantly giving me shit and support after the games, but also having a brother who was competitive, phenomenal player. You guys can say the same things.
Just say Robbie's better than you.
I don't think I need to say it. I was telling Chad this story the other day about SS Italia coming in to sign Stevie.
I heard that.
But I was always the ugly sister that you had to bring with you to the dance.
I like. I'll give you shoes too.
I'll give you shoes.
I'll take them. Theodora size 8.
I had this coach. Dino Rizzo.
Yeah.
For FC
Yeah,
Nationals.
yeah.
And I was playing a blinder. Second last game of the season against Oakville in Toronto. I think I'm having the greatest game alive, right? Yeah, I get subbed out with 5 minutes left. Dino goes, Robert, I didn't know you had a left foot. I said, what? I don't have a right foot. Are you kidding me? So that's how serious people took me. I mean, I was always the other Arce. I mean, it was, but for me, it personal. Like I had to constantly push myself, even like, you're playing above your level just so that you're gonna get noticed. Because when you have a phenomenal brother, I mean,
Rob,
you can be in a shadow very easily.
Rob, you were a good player when you played. Your brother was good. He was top
world.
class. I mean.
Moving on to the next topic. I'm kidding.
I'm just big shoes to fill, Rob.
Oh, it was massive shoes. to
But you
fill.
still did well yourself.
Well, I had fun.
That's all
I
it's
did have
about.
fun. That was
Right.
that was a big thing.
Right.
I think at that point. But I mean, so what was your bar though? This is my question. I mean, you had bars set high in the family. You had bars set high in the family. What pushed you? Did you have criticism when you came home after games? What was it like? We had a tape review after games we played. My dad would have the games taped,
Wow.
and we'd watch them after to see where we fucked up.
Well,
You want to go or me?
sure. I guess I'll go. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. I never thought that I was. I'm just trying to be humble and honest here. I played for fun, and I just played as hard as I could. I I made sure I played with the people that I enjoyed to be around. Don't think I was the best player around the city by any stretch of the means, but in my family, my brother Greg, he made the Ontario. Well, he was on the verge of. He was there. He was within the cut of 30 some odd kids, and my father was unfortunately couldn't bring him anymore. And victim of circumstance, he couldn't go anymore. Greg was a good boy when he played, and then of course then he won the Ontario Cup with the FC Nationals and Steve Hart and that.
Oh, I remember that.
So I mean, you're living in a house where, come on, get a freaking move on here. You know what I mean?
And there's medals and there's.
And then in the extended family there, my uncle, being around him all the time was always the soccer stories, and my cousins, the soccer stories. So when you played. You had to make sure you played with pride and you played hard and you were fit and you just did things right. Me, I was never the guy to dribble everybody and score a goal. More defensive like and just make sure you do your duties. And
You're the guy to break the leg.
Greg was the guy to break the leg. Greg was the guy. So
I didn't know Greg to be that good. I don't remember.
I'll say an anecdote.
Well, no, see-
not.
I'll say an anecdote for Greg. When we were playing Rose City, I forget what it was, A or B, and Greg was U17 at the time because he's 82, right?
Greg's 80s, yeah.
And we brought him up for a game. Every pass out the back on your foot.
Really?
Every
See,
pass.
Greg.
I think I knew him. I kind of started following him when he broke his leg. And he
Well,
got a
that's
little
the
bit-
problem.
Right, that's kind of what's
That's the thing with Greg is that
Yeah.
Greg was he before 20 years old he broke his ankle,
Yeah.
and then I remember he went for the operation and they cut the wrong foot open or something like that.
Oh my God!
So that set
How
him
does
back.
that happen?
And he was just so injury prone. And then he did the ACL twice, and
Right.
the poor guy wasn't even. The poor guy was 20 or 21. When did they win the Ontario Cup the last time? Because he played on one of those teams. I believe it was the
It
second
wasn't
year.
Steve Hart. It was 2001.
But they won twice, and I think it was the second year he played on the team.
Yeah.
So he was on that team that year.
Adamolos.
Yes,
Uzo and all those-
Santilli.
Yeah, that was
them boys.
2001.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that would have made Greg 18.
Yeah.
And after that, it's hard to say how a player would have been after 18. You can say someone was great, but they really got to play, like to Dominic's point, I don't really remember, because the players play in their 20s and
That's
their
right.
early 30s.
Yeah, right.
When you're 18, 19, you stop playing.
Yeah.
You don't get that. You don't get to see that.
Yeah.
So
No, I agree.
Yeah, not
Enjoy-
No,
matter,
I
but
understand.
I just don't,
Yeah.
And Joy was a nifty winger, good left foot, pacey.
Joey's a smart little player.
Yeah, geez.
Joey's a smart little player. You're never going to get stuck in like I would or Greg would, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Joey's a smart little boy,
Yeah.
very good boy. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And yeah, so and then again, my uncle Eladio, and then my cousin Diano was a really good player. So we always, and my cousin being older than me, always something talk about, something
course.
to
Diano, right?
Diano.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah, so
Great guy.
it was always around. It was always around, and so instead of this hockey and everything else that was around, we kind of took the road to play some soccer, right? So
Yeah.
and good road.
That's beautiful.
Met lots of people, lots of friends,
Yeah.
and still meeting lots of people. And
You're right.
You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
you know,
If anything, that's right. That's what soccer is.
So to Manning Road now. I mean, That's
again?
it's a Manning Road. You guys live off Manning?
Les Brown.
That's Bronx.
Oh, Les Bronx. Oh shit, I thought it was Manning.
That's okay.
Didn't you ever go play soccer in the backyard?
I was one of the few fucking guys that never
We
went to
had
the
some
backyard.
battles on that. Oh my god.
Because
Well, we
that
have to-
field was legendary.
we have to make a
had
game.
over
We have to
here-
make
You know what? We always talk about that like a classic there.
Let's make a game.
We'll
Oh,
chalk the
that'd be
field,
great.
invite everybody, but you know what's gonna happen? Everybody's gonna play and they're gonna play for 5 minutes. Like, my bad.
Yeah.
My dad's
drink.
got the machine in the
You
club. We
take
can
the
borrow
bets.
it.
My dad will take the bets on the side.
Yeah, we cut the grass there too when we were kids. Oh, we'd like cut
Did
it,
you?
like try to like make it like a professional field, change
The
it.
different color, the
Exactly.
different height.
Loved it.
Pat, John, I mean,
Maina too.
and Mina. Oh my God, she was a great player.
Maina was a very good player. She played with on that St. Anne's team, and she was a stopper, and she was very good.
Oh my God.
A lot of people don't know that. My sister had a scholarship offered to Eastern Michigan.
Oh, to Ian, why didn't she
Ian.
take it?
She just, I don't know, just didn't go through, or she didn't take it.
Yeah.
And John had a full ride to Eastern Michigan, and he did very well there.
Mm-hmm. How long did he stay there for?
1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot
I
of
know.
Canadians only stay there for 1 year.
You know, the thing with scholarships are funny because you know how our families are, right? We're tight, right? Not to say Jay I'm talking to, I'm not saying it's an Italian thing or whatever. But we're tight, the Romas, thank God, right? We are fino adesso, up to now. So, you know, him going Monday to Friday there, and it was so easy to come back, right? So he would do that. So he wouldn't kind of stay on the weekends. And that was, I hurt him, I think, because I went to Franklin Pierce University, it's a 12-hour drive away. So I was stuck there. You know, at Easter I couldn't come home. I had to get it. Thanksgiving I couldn't go home. I had to kind of get used to it. And I did get used to it. So I think it's funny because when you go away, I think it's almost better to go far away as opposed to not so far away.
Yeah.
Because it helps you, it forces you to kind of
Stay there.
correct.
To be away, yeah.
Absolutely.
That's what we found.
Couldn't agree with you more.
So, what was my motivator? That's a great question. You know, actually, my brother John was my goalkeeper coach. It's funny, he was a striker. But John understood the game quite well.
Yeah.
And I think we understood as a result of that. I remember 1986 World Cup was like our textbook. We taped it and we watched every game. And a goalie by the name of Tony Schumacher, John would show me fantastic.
A murderer.
He was.
I was thinking about the 82 thing.
So John taught me he studied him and go, here, cutting off your angles, coming off your line. And I understood that at a young age. It's soccer intelligence,
Yeah.
which I prided myself on understanding the game, anticipating it, understanding it. Not jumping fast and diving and trying to, like, kill guys. I don't know what the fuck that means. I don't know what that means, but anyways. And that's what I learned about soccer at a young age. So my brother kind of, taught me how to play the game. And then my brother Pat, Maina, and John both shot on me religiously in the backyard, point blank. My brother would throw balls at me in the house, go, catch it, Mom's lamp. And I had to catch it, because if I didn't catch it, their lamp would break. So stupid games like that we played constantly, right? You know when you come from the family, how it goes, right? Everything's a game, right?
Right.
So what was my motivator? You know what was funny? And I never thought about it. I never knew I was too short to play the game, which I'm 5'9". But everybody would say, my first impression is, you're too short. So I think that drove me. I hate to sound like that, and not, again, like Jay said, I don't think you're trying to make professional or not. I think at the end of the day, you got a scholarship, and that was fantastic, and it paid for my school.
Right.
That's great. But it was about the relationships.
Right.
It was fun. It was fun, quite frankly. But I think that motivated me from playing well. I think the most motivator was having fun and playing with the guys, spending the summer together, because they were your good friends, your soccer buddies. But yeah, I think from motivation, it would always be like, oh, he's too short, you're too short, you're too short, you're too short. And then after a game, damn, you're good. Or remember, like Chip the Dwarf, remember we played against
Do you know what's funny? I thought about that today. I wasn't sure if you would remember that.
I
But I remember your reaction.
So I played against Malvern. It was 2-1.
No, that was Oakville.
Oakville. And
Oakville.
I was playing against a Canadian national goalie, I think, was it?
Yeah.
And they're like, Chip the Dwarf, chip him. I think it was a kid.
Come on, Okie, chip it over the
Yeah.
dwarf.
I was a dwarf. I guess I was probably smaller than him now, but And we did okay, right? We played okay.
You played great, and then I remember when that guy said that you put your middle finger up and you didn't face the guy. Said you're like, yeah, fuck you.
Oh yeah, I think it did help me, right? Obviously, but it was.
But they were so arrogant. They were so.
I know, and then we lost. I think your brother scored, and they scored in the last one. But it was one of those games. It was like, oh shit, like we were just getting blasted. And it was just like, guys.
Yeah, it was. But you stood on your head. I remember after that game, Rick Cluse told everybody in the club that Oakville made a fucking offer for you. That was U15 soccer.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know? Don't you remember that? Rick Cluse came out and said, yeah, the goalie asked, or the other team's coach asked what the plans were for Dominic. You know, they're going on some tournaments, they're going this. Yeah. So, I mean, if that's a sign of your potential, John, Don, they had the Canadian national team goalie, and you're getting asked about what you're doing.
I remember that guy. I think he was the Oakville goalie or the Malvern goalie. We always have
It was Scarborough Malvern Magic that had the Canadian national team goalie, the right fullback, the center backs. Remember Ramba?
Yes, but the right fullback was an English kid, a white kid.
I thought he was an Afro-Caribbean kid named Ramba, because Hilaire was shitting his pants every time he played. And Steve used to tell, because I remember that one game you guys went to Scarborough and played them, and I thought you guys had them. Frank Pacheco scored an equalizer, a bomb. He scored a worldie, and then they just got pissed off.
Frank Pacheco was a good boy too.
He was
all I remember is playing against these teams, and it was like exactly like Iki Katsugabej. Hilaire would tell me the story on all these guys. I was like, whoa. I'm like scratching my balls, warming up. I'm like, okay. And there's like, watch out, number fucking 80's gonna rip a hole in your stomach. And I'm like, oh.
Hilaire, the everlasting motivator.
Like, fuck. Like, should we like play this game or is it just we're done?
Everything I hear before a game, because I'm a slow center back. Watch that guy, he's fast. Watch that guy, he's fast. Watch that guy, he's fast. Well, no kidding. Can you say anything else? You know, so
like I think at the end of the day, they're trying to win. You're trying to win. That's why like these tactics and these scare and bullshit rivalries.
Just go and play.
I don't think you. I think of my. And maybe I don't. I know this sounds maybe cliche, but it is cliche, but it is true. You respected everybody. The shittiest team you were going to play at the bottom of the table, you respect them because you know, hey, they can have a good game. It's 11 versus 11 ball around. But I wasn't scared of anybody per se. Does that make sense?
No, that makes sense. I mean,
like you know, there's a scared that you don't want to.
That's a dying thing, though, Dom. You know how many Windsor teams
play. You know what I'm trying to say, Jay? Like scared that I'm done. This game's over. He's gonna shoot on me, and I'm gonna fuck. It's so fast, and you know what I mean.
It's like a coach the talk before the game. You know, you go there, you got to praise your team. You can't scare the shit out of your team before the game starts.
No, and but there's a lot of Windsor teams. I think that's a dying thing, though, Dom, because there's a lot of Windsor teams that traditionally play to the level. If they're playing against great teams, they're up. But if there was a Windsor team that played down, they would play like shit. That Nationals team that you guys had was a good team.
I think we were good. Yeah, we were good. But like that's my mentality. I don't know if I can say
you
it's
had guys
the whole
that shared
team.
that. No, but you had Stevie, you had Frank Pacheco, you had Sean Brillante. You guys had some good players.
You know,
Sean Brillante.
Remember him? You had Googie.
Yes.
The marauding left fullback. Who got benched after he chipped the goalie and celebrated?
I'll tell you what. You know something? If I can say something, I'm sorry, Jeff.
No, I'm done.
I was going to say, you guys mentioned Frank Pacheco quite a bit. Like growing up in Forest Glade, and getting together in summer times, and Dom a couple of times. Dom would always come. We would
play at that park. What's the park?
Les Demeres. And Frank Pacheco and myself, Dom, because.
We go check out the talent in Forest Glade.
Frank,
that's true.
If I'm not mistaken, Frank and Gino were friends of yours.
Yes.
And you guys would come around.
Gino Pacheco.
Yeah, Gino Pacheco, yeah. And so then I'm just trying to think, I'm trying to throw some old names out there. Steven Rozic, Croatian boy, Peter Zaran, Forest Glade. Paul Sparks. He lived around the street. So that LA Demeres
I always remember that.
Field, and I used to bring Greg and Joe. Remember, they were younger, and we used to always go for a walk every day in the summertime.
Forest Glade was a hotbed for talent, eh? As long as the Flays lived in Forest Glade.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah,
that's right. They did. That's right.
Yeah, a lot of kids there.
Yeah, there was tons of kids there.
Yeah.
Well, I remember, back to that plane. I remember we would take. It was almost like we would go play in Forest Glade for like Tuesday. How we get to Forest Glade? Let's go to Forest Glade. And we'd show up at the park, and it would be like a game.
Really?
Oh, we'd throw in the studs.
man.
Rob, sometimes these guys show up at my house, knock on the door, because my mother and father go to work, and my brother Joey being a little bit younger, he might have been 3, 4, who knows how old he was, and even a bit older, I don't know.
Just
And
give
then-
your thing.
and then
First
give-
thing.
yeah, and then
Quorum.
so the knock came on the door, and then back in the day without the cell phone or nothing, and you just knew, oh, the boys are here, or we're gonna be at the park at 10 o'clock, and we just honestly
Yeah.
for
That's
quite a few
amazing.
summers, just meet at the Forest
And
Lake,
you guys would always bring in-
Damaris Park.
I
and
remember
just-
it'd be like, come to Forest Gate. I'm like, why? We have a game going on
Yeah.
in the backyard or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, we have this. You guys would be like, we have this grade 10 coming. He's a good player. Just a striker. He's got a strong kick.
Well, they weren't talking about
Pacheco
me,
would-
were they?
No, Pacheco would tell me
Yeah.
he's got like a good left foot.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, guys, how are we gonna get to Forest Glades today?
But
See this
Pacheco,
funny
but Pacheco was like that. Pacheco, we
I
even,
swear to God, I'm not lying.
but Pacheco was like that. We
like a good player.
He was.
Pacheco did that to us when we played road hockey, because road hockey time we're in Fort, even out throughout the city, everyone had their own street crew, and so
Yeah.
Pacheco says to me, he says, "You guys got to, you come to where we played. We had 15 kids or 10 kids. You got to come have a road hockey game at our place." So we grabbed the net and everything. We go for a walk where he lived. Well, the guy lived next to Ed Jovanowski.
my
So there we are. I mean, at the time it was before.
Oh, shit.
Okay, so you got all these guys, ting, 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 and I said, "What the hell's going on here?" Go to school the next day. He says, "All these guys are all going to go play for the Spitfires or wherever they were, right back in those days." So I mean, come to
They
find
have
out, Ed
quit
Jovanowski
hockey.
is a big hockey player, and it's, "Oh, you son of a bitch." But Frank Pacheco, I mean, put a shout out to him. He was
Yeah.
that guy had a left foot. My God, he in our grade school and our
Yeah.
high school, Frank Pacheco was quality. He was a very good player. Stood out a lot, Frank
He
Pacheco.
turned well and he hit it. It reminded me of a Chiesa type there.
Yeah.
Score a lot of
In
goals.
the 18-yard
Yes.
box. is
Yeah, scored a lot
deadly.
of goals, Frank. Scored a
Although
lot
his
of
son
goals.
is
Yeah.
phenomenal. His son's
Oh, his son's
probably
such a
better.
good player.
Oh, really?
That he
Yeah.
was phenomenal.
Yeah, he's really good. He's gonna be
Phenomenal. He's gonna be a legend.
who the Italians are gonna be relying on heavily in the next 4
See the
years.
U21s? It was just
Oh,
like
they're
it was like a
good. They're good.
man
Everything
playing his
about
boys.
Italy, I think the last 2
Yeah.
summers, the
I'm very
women's
happy.
team, under 20s.
U17, U18, U19, U20.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once that starts happening, the national team is starting to. But I saw that happening, to my own horn here, when Prandelli was in charge. I saw him at a press conference. What he was talking about is he started at the youth level. This is back in 2012 when
Yeah.
he made the Euro final.
Maybe.
And he was talking about what he wanted for the youth, all these implementations to get out of the defensive shackles that was at the time, Italian soccer. And he was doing a 4-3-3. That was when Balotelli, that Euro
Yeah,
took
right,
off for
right.
Shearer.
We lost
It was
one, yeah.
Casano, Balotelli, and I forget the other
Played
forward.
3 injured people in the final.
Is that right? Was it 300?
Yeah, Diego
We had
Malta
to
went
make
off the
3
field.
substitutions after 20 minutes. Then we lost all our 11 guys. We had to play in 10 because Diego Malta.
Against
Diego
Spain.
Malta went
This
off.
is a genius tactical move.
And he came on right after half too, didn't he? Diego Malta just came on, if I'm not
He was-
mistaken.
I
He
was
just came
looking at
on.
him like this. I don't think he ever got called back again. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Wow. That's,
He's like, I'm hurt. I was like, well, we're going to play in 10. I'm hurt. I would have said,
that's the last time you
just
wore a
go
jersey.
back, take a plane ticket home, and you pay for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm just trying to think. I know
That's
that.
what happened. No, you're 100%
But
right.
I know Diego Malta just went on and he played a few
It's
minutes
like-
and
it's
he
like-
pulled up right away. Yeah.
I
So-
think if we were young, we would have played through that. And these guys can't play through it in the European Cup.
Yeah,
Right?
I
It
don't
makes you
understand
wonder
that.
sometimes.
I don't
Playing on one
understand
leg, I don't know.
that. Yeah. I remember
Figure it out.
Argentina, Germany, when the goalie pulled his groin.
Come on, Jay.
It's 20 minutes left, and Argentina has to make a sub. They're winning 1-0 against Germany in the quarterfinal. Italy's waiting in the semis, and the goalie comes off. 20 minutes left. He thinks he pulled something, and at that moment, that's your last game for the national team. That's your last game. You think
I know.
you pulled something?
Remember,
Whatever.
I know we're too young to
Digress.
remember. Remember Beckenbauer in '70 dislocated his shoulder
Yeah.
against the
And they had
Italians,
All the wrapping. on
and they
his
tried to
shoulder.
sub him off, and no,
Yeah.
and he had it all taped up. Can you imagine
Uniform,
playing
right?
like that?
That's right. I remember
Jesus
it.
Christ.
Jose Luis Brown, 86 World Cup final, separated his shoulder. First play of the game. Play the whole game with a
Look
separated
at,
shoulder.
remember, Baresi, Franco Baresi?
Yeah.
He fucking marked Romano out of the game.
Oh, the
And
94
On
World
one
Cup
hand,
final.
on one hand, and he's like 36 years old, guys.
Well,
He
he
was phenomenal.
he had a
On
he
one
had,
leg.
Ridiculous.
no, but
Yeah.
Dom, the game against Norway in '94, Baresi went out, he fell down, and he had a knee scope, and then he came back in the final.
Was it knee? Sorry, yeah.
Right?
Something.
Okay. And then that game there, everybody was cramped up. They had a red card.
Yeah.
They had a red card
And
because
he took-
Pagliuca came out of the box and he handled the ball out of the box. They pulled Baggio out, and then Maldini went down in the second half, and they taped his ankle. They taped the shit out of his ankle.
They took off Dino Baggio.
They took off Roberto Baggio.
In the World Cup final?
No, in the game against Norway in the
Oh,
round
yeah,
robin.
when they
Oh, no.
But AZ went out because
Sorry,
he hurt
yes.
right.
Okay.
With a red card with Pagliuca, they were already playing in 10. They pulled
We
Baggio.
won 1-0.
They beat Norway 1-0. But AZ came back.
But Dino Baggio scored.
Dino Baggio scored.
Yes, the header.
Dino Baggio scored the header. But
Remember Cannavaro was like, I was Cannavaro, 5'4", he was beating Flo, 6 foot.
Sorry, Andre
Who
Flo.
was beating him on headers. How
Both
does
those
that happen?
forwards. And there was Solskjaer. There was Fjorton.
How does that happen?
That's a good Norway team too. Yeah, that was that Italian team was
Yeah,
that was good. Okay, we're gonna go right into the worst memories of soccer, and I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna set the bar high.
sure.
Okay, Holy Names versus Brennan. We're playing against my good buddy Matt Innocente. You guys remember Matt?
yeah.
And we go into penalty shots, and there's no way. First of all, we shouldn't be going to penalty shots. So we're all pissed off, and you immediately feel the pressure. And Matt and I took penalty shots. Nationals, he knows where I go. So I switched it. Looked like a real jackass. Skied it. We lost. Right?
He saved it?
No. I went for the full fucking field goal.
Yeah.
Right over the top corner because he went the way I normally don't go. So what do you do when you see that happen? You relax and you lean back like an idiot, and then you get underneath it. Right? My own fault. Anyways, the interviewer after the game, I'm in tears. Okay, as you do in high school. I got snot hanging down my nose. My dad's holding me, and I'm crying like a fucking idiot. Mary Caton comes over to the microphone. She comes over the microphone. She taps my. I'm fucking crying, and she's tapping my shoulder. Rob. And I turn around. Fucking boogers are so fucking swiping everywhere.
Can we YouTube that?
Almost.
Is that on
No camera. Thank God.
Oh yeah.
And
That was so long
my
ago. Right?
dad-
There was no cell phone, no camera.
And my dad's going, hijo, la nariz. You know, the nose. And I went like this. It's fucking wrapped around my arms. And the lady's there with a fucking microphone. And I'm thinking, this is the lowest moment, hopefully, in my career. And it was. I mean, we had a great high school team. We had a great Holy Names team. I fucked it. Embarrassed the shit out of myself after the game. It was brutal. So
Was that fine?
that was semi-fun. St. Joe's was waiting for them, and they won. And then I think they played Bell River in a final. That was the anecdote Manu was talking about when Bell River beat St. Anne's that year. But so that was my worst. What's your worst moment of the game?
You know what? My worst moment, I think, is probably not to do with the game. But I came off when I was 18. I was really fit. Played for a really good side, the Serbs. Called up all the time to play with the men. And then when I was 19, I stopped playing. I was working a lot, and I just from the time I was about 19 to I would say 23. I didn't play, and I missed it a lot because my brother was playing and the game was always around me, and I think I missed a lot there. And
So 19 and 23. That's how
probably
much
about
it-
19, about 23. I love my life now. I love my wife and children and my family, and I got a really good paying job and things like that. But I didn't stick to school like I probably should have.
Mhm.
I took a trade, no. It's but when I seen all the
Dominic is hugging Jason. Everybody for
no,
this.
I'm not trying to. But when I seen all the boys playing and things like this and that, when I seen all the boys playing this and that, whatever, I knew that I had to get back involved, right? So,
Who's on the boys?
well, when I seen you guys playing, I mean, I was always asked to play for some good teams, this, that, whatever, and I should have gone to play, and I never did because I did what I did, and when I was about 23 years old, I got back involved, and I started playing again, and start having fun again. You know what I mean? So that was, if you had to ask me a worst moment, I always enjoyed playing. I mean, you boys played in Ontario Cups and this and that. Me, I was more a club player, so you had your Walter Lomases and Association Cup games and this and that, whatever. And there were some nice games there. We won some, we lost some, and there was always trophies that was won, and there was always games that were lost. But I think for me, the worst was just probably stopping at that age, and you know, that was, if I had any regret in life, that would be the one there.
I love that your regret was not playing. And to anybody listening, I mean, that's pretty profound when you think about it. Most people, like, you know, the losses, the horrible moments, the bad memories. For you, it's not playing. I think that says a lot about how you love the game. Well, I love that. I'm upset about your story, but I love the fact that you think the worst epoch of your playing career was not playing.
Well, just playing is so nice. I mean, whether you play, like Dom and I played a lot of game in the Trujillo Club 7-a-side or indoor. Yeah. As I don't want to put down any league that there is out there, as fun as it is, but it's still, you go there, you put a shirt on, you want to play, you want to win, you want to play well, you want to play for your partner, your teammate, you know, and you want to play and you want to have a good time, and you know, those ages there, like 19 to 23, a lot of soccer going on there, and that's when, you know, things are really going on, and So, but anyway, with that being said, that's for me. That was my worst. Yeah.
Well, what was yours?
That's good, Jay. Yeah, I remember you were kind of absent from the soccer stage, from the soccer scene.
Yeah, I mean,
for a little bit, and then you kind of came back into it. Yeah.
It was modeling.
You know what? That's life, though, right? I think that the trade, you got to really go balls to the wall, right, around that age. You're starting.
That's
to
when
get
you
your
learn
hours
the most,
in.
Yeah.
And I was away a lot for work,
right.
too.
Yeah.
Right? I was away a lot.
Whatever
and actually, when I got back involved, Pete Effenu gave me a call, and I went to play with Bill Mello at the Hellenic, and I was playing indoor with Bill Mello.
Yeah.
And I was, so I tried to give it a go, and then I was going away again for work, because my buddy Paul Sparks called me up, and he says, "Come on, you come play with the Anglo." And actually, when I got back involved, I was playing with the Anglo. Good bunch of guys, really good bunch of guys, and it just all started from there. So
yeah, it was like playing with all the Protestants.
You know what? I'll tell you what. If I always been the kind of guy to play where I had a good time, and Paul Sparks, I was the best man at his wedding. I'm an Italian guy, and I walk in with the St. George's flag, and
you did?
Yeah,
it's the St. George's flag.
Yeah, Dominic was at the wedding. Yeah, Paul Sparks. Paul Sparks' wedding was a good time.
Yeah,
Paul Sparks is a good guy, and the Anglo boys are good boys, really good boys.
How's he doing, Paul?
Paul, you know, I talk to Paul. I text with Paul once a month. We always make sure to try to keep some contact. You know.
Good.
We have a mutual friend that they caught sick recently, so he was saying to me that he might come down.
Oh, really?
Just to visit with him. So I says, "Yeah, Paul, my door is open, and you know, you're more than welcome. You don't even gotta let me know. Just show up. You know." So yeah. Well, but Paul and I go back a long way. I mean, we're good friends, Paul and I. So yeah.
Please give him my regards.
Oh, for sure. Things are for sure.
Say hello too.
Anyway, Dom, you're.
I want to hear your worst moment.
That's a great question, Paul. Guys. You know.
It's a shitty question, but
No,
it's
no,
profound.
no.
But it's deep, right?
Like, I'm not deflecting or anything. I just can't think of one particular moment. Or, I mean, hell, I've lost a lot. Hell, I've given up bad goals, and we've lost because of me. But I've never. I guess I've never played the game to think that was a bad moment, as opposed to maybe a moment that, I know this sounds really philosophical. A moment that, I guess, you know, you pick yourself back up, and you don't let that make that mistake again happen. And I feel like I've been blessed in the sense I've always had a chance to do better than, you know, make it right. Does that make sense?
No, yeah.
So
I remember you being really bummed out about the Ontario Cup final.
You remind me, yeah.
Because Vanini played in the final.
But I didn't. I was in school. So what happened was that's a good one. But I wasn't bitter about that because we made the Ontario Cup finals and I couldn't play in the semis or the finals. It was August 11th. I still remember they had to go back to
So
for training camp.
Ineligible to play, or
Was I ineligible or eligible? No, my coach didn't let me go.
Yeah, I remember it was something against your will, and you're like, oh.
But why? I don't want to get off topic, but
Sure.
like, why? You have a player on your team, on your university team or college team. Okay, on your university team, they can play a chance for the Ontario Championship.
They don't give a
and
shit,
they don't
Jay.
care really.
They don't give a flying toss.
But
The
should
Ontario
they?
Cup today?
Should they?
No.
You're basically you're on a contract, right?
Yeah,
Sure.
you're on a contract.
They're essentially paying you, but they're not paying you, but they're paying you.
That's right.
So
You're an
you're
asset.
gonna go there and play at a pretty good level, and I'm sure they understand that, and possibly get hurt.
Because they want you. They're on the contract. Yeah.
Correct. So you're gonna. It's like in Italy. I'm not comparing to Serie A. It's not
Sure,
the
sure,
same
sure,
thing.
sure.
But Serie A hates you.
Well, were you on? I'm sorry to cut you off. You were on a scholarship,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
they're paying for you to go to school.
Essentially, yes.
So they have to.
So
Yeah.
he could have. Of course he could have, but he said no.
Yeah, you're an asset at that time, and they're not going to ruin an asset. I mean, we had a game against Ottawa, then Oshawa. In the final.
And I feel I hear Steve did okay. It was 1-0,
He
right?
played
It wasn't-
fantastic.
yeah.
We,
It wasn't his-
your brother
yeah.
just got off a plane that day. Verkic was gone. He was in
I know.
Croatia.
John told me about it. They were a strong team. John said.
They were good.
I think he hit the bar, right? We hit the bar.
The bar once came close a couple times. It was
We had a few good runs, eh?
We did.
With
I don't
that
know
team.
how we did it, but we did it.
Why do you say that?
I still remember the Live No game as just waves of red and white checkers coming at us over and over. And you probably got peppered to shit that day. And I
All I
remember.
remember is that game, like all games, I take them in increments.
I mean,
I was like, just
yeah.
what the fuck's your problem? I was like, oh, just another day.
Let me
But
tell you.
it was
Listen,
Live No and
It's like it's
AEK.
going. I go. You may not know this, but this is going exactly how we wanted.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Bramley Celtic. Oh my god. I remember.
And they're like, "What do you mean?" I was like, I was like walking to go get the ball.
I remember this, we played against some ridiculous teams, Jay, on our way to the final there. And I remember telling Marianne, I played with this guy in Iowa named Jordan Schweiger. This fucking guy, he had a third lung, but he was strong and could hit with both feet, right? And I'm like, Marianne, this guy is going to run and run and run, and if you jockey him outside, he's going to turn in the left. So just, be careful.
Yeah.
And Marianne made this awesome fucking run. And he got kind of slide tackled over at their box. So it was 50-50. Jordan won a slide tackle. And he goes, I looked up, Robbie. I turned around. He's already past half attacking. Like that was Bramley Celtic. Then we had Livno. I mean, I still don't know how we won those games.
But Rob, I think back to your point about the Windsor attitude. Come on, give yourself some credit.
We held onto our balls for 90 minutes, and we didn't take shit.
I didn't think we were that.
Against Livno?
I thought we were strong. Okay, but you know what? We're playing away. When you make a run, you're gonna have games that you're better and games that you're not.
I agree.
You kind of have to
I agree.
have the role players in the system to kind of weather the storm. Correct?
Yeah, but there was a big storm against Livno. I remember the guy marking me was 6'5", or me marking him. He was a center midfielder, and he was mobile. Typical Croatia thing. How is this guy going to move? And he's incredibly nimble and agile. Like it was brutal. Like, come on, man, this is unfair. They had the two Irish twins up front.
I think I remember those.
Remember those guys?
You know what was a blessing on me? You see, I'm kind of like I was is ignorant a good word? Like I never knew. Who
You just
we
weren't
played.
cognizant. You didn't care, I don't think.
And you
Don't
just
even
even
care.
in hindsight, which is a blessing. I think I didn't
it's a
get too
big
caught
blessing.
up in
Absolutely.
I don't know these twins or whoever.
I listened
Like,
to you
he's
later
shooting
too
on
much.
me, I'm shooting whatever. I mean, he's gonna shoot, I'm gonna shoot.
Yeah.
And in the weathering of the storms, like those are just. I always took soccer as it's a 20-minute increments. We're away. This is always first 20 minutes are crucial. Don't give up a goal.
Sure.
Don, first 20 minutes, win all the crosses.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let them score on the cross. And after I got over the 20 minutes that we got off, I'm like, we can do this. We're gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, being a goalkeeper is a very interesting position. It's a very mentally challenging position. I don't think anybody it's night. And when somebody told me, I can't remember, it's 90% mental goalkeeping and 10% physical. because you can have no shots for 89
Sure,
minutes.
sure.
And you get this fucking top corner shot, and you have to save it. And if you don't, you let
You're
one
the scapegoat.
goal in one shot.
Absolutely.
But if you
It's-
saved
and
it,
it's-
you did it. So I always, what was always a challenge for me, and which I think it's sports in all sports, but I think it taught you a lot about life. The best example I give is, you get knocked down, you got to get yourself up. But the worst feeling is picking the ball at the back of the net in the first fucking minute of the game. Mm-hmm. Granted, I never fucking did it. My defender did it because I refused to get the ball out of the net.
Really? Did you tell that to the defenders?
If we were winning and they scored on us, I would jump on that fucking ball. Just waste time, right?
Oh, right.
And they'd have to fight it off me, and then it'd be like a disaster. Remember we did that in Windsor Stadium? We beat that team from Toronto 4-1. And they were beating them 4-0, and they scored one goal, and I jumped on the ball, and they all fucking tried to get the ball as if they're going to come back. I'm like, relax. His game's over.
Well, that,
Meanwhile,
you know what?
fight for the ball. I don't want to give it to them. Because
Relax.
they
Dominic brings up a good point.
So,
about,
it's sorry, yeah. Sorry.
But I'm saying you bring up a good point about
Yeah.
the gamesmanship, because even like Rob and I are involved with Rob more than I am, but we got involved in some adolescence and coaching, right? And that's just gamesmanship. That's just you want
Gamesmanship.
that. You just want. I mean, the kids that we coach now, the adolescents that we coach now are not anymore.
What's adolescence? Like,
Adolescent is
Early
teenage, early
teens,
teens.
pre-teens kind
Right.
of thing, yeah.
Well, okay, so preteen, we were not so much preteen, but younger adults, let's say. You go through a training session, and it's very like a robot. To teach something like that, goalkeeper, go on the ball, waste time.
Yeah.
They scored, kick the ball out, go down, even if you don't.
Right.
I hate to say these things on record, but they were maybe putting the word in some of the boys' heads. You're winning the game, go down and come in the game, get you some water, we stretch out. It takes the pace away. It gets the other team,
There's
it's
a word for
gamesmanship.
that. Machiavellian. They're not Machiavellian because this is a YouTube.
right?
This is a YouTube generation. The YouTube generation looks at highlights. This generation doesn't look when there's injury time left, and it's Inter versus Juventus, and you are looking to suck out every second of the game that's left.
Right, correct.
It's the Machiavellian attitude versus the naive attitude, and I think that's the biggest difference.
It's the, what do they call it? The VAR. This ref. Quante volte arbitro ha fatto vincere la partita e perde la partita? Why do you gotta have VAR?
Well,
I know it's money now. How many times has a ref lost a game for you, and how many times have they won a game
it's
for you?
equal. It's just
Correct.
equal.
Let
Yeah.
it play out.
That's the beauty of
Play
soccer.
it out.
Yeah, it's romance. Is what
Play
it is.
it out. Exactly.
I don't need
A bad call,
Yeah.
go yell at the ref, get a red card, get thrown out the good game,
That's
feel
right.
good about yourself, say it's bullshit, but don't leave it in the ref's hand because he is the 12th man.
I don't like these stoppages. These
He's the
stoppages
12th
are
man.
stupid.
I know. I know it's money. I get
But
it. It's a whole.
But even
commerce.
still, even though the play is running and you know that there's going to be a VAR review, to me, that's not soccer anymore. You just extracted the human error, the human element of a game that was wonderful about it.
I mean, and you think how the game's changed. Think how the game is continuing to change.
Mm-hmm.
And you think how many championship finals, World Cup finals, European Champions League finals, how the result would have gone the other way if VAR was around.
Yeah.
And now they have it, they're using it, and I mean, don't get me wrong, with the replay they're getting it right, but like you said, to your point, Rob, does it take away from the game? It's not. It
takes in
away.
that la furbaria.
Well, the culture.
Remember Maradona? What do you say? Playing against Gentile, Bergumi,
Sure.
Sciarrea. They used to grab his balls and twist it. They used to beat him.
Actually,
silly.
before you
That's how they had to do it.
before you got here, we
You
actually
can't do that
actually talked about that Gentile and Maradona in '82. So
That's right.
And how'd you defend him, Gentile? I just grabbed his balls and hung on for dear life. Oh, that's a tactic. That's one way of dressing them.
It is. But that's the thing. Back in the day, you had
What,
four
like-
or five bad tackles before you got carded. Now,
yeah, that's true.
it's one.
In 1990, you watch the World Cup, and you
It's the most
see
cynical
two yellow
World Cup.
cards, and the referee come over all the time, again,
he was yelling at him, yeah.
You got a yellow card, and it was like, oh my God.
I better
You know what I mean?
calm down a little
Now
bit.
it's 30-second
Yeah.
after the first whistle, the referee sets a tone.
And that's
Yeah, no, I know.
it's
I get. I don't want to sound like it was better. It's not better. It's not worse. It's just.
yeah, but see,
It is what it is.
I think you're right there because VAR is still not. It's still in a beta phase. They're still seeing if this is going to be rolled out for good or not. They're still talking about delaying it, the implementation into the EPL.
Remember, don't train your referees. Train them, but remember, if you train them, they're not going to be perfect. But with this VAR, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Trying to make
make
perfect?
everything perfect.
So then you're going to allow for non-skilled referees, because it is a skilled position, to infiltrate the system.
But do you guys
trust me on that?
I don't.
Rob, I don't want to
And
get
they're
off
gonna
topic
rely
with
on
your.
that.
I don't want to get off topic with your agenda, but don't talk about VAR. Do you think that? I mean, with the replay, do you not agree if they get it right or not? If
What do you mean? And what's the percentage of them getting it right?
with an opportunity of replay, do you feel the referee get it right?
Oh, with 8 cameras, yeah, I think they do.
Okay.
Is it 8 cameras?
I mean, I think it's one thing if they do it like football, where you're allowed to have 4 or 5
2
challenges.
a game, or
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
limit
a good way.
Then
Limit it.
no, I'm saying
Be very good.
I would hate to see a coach try to challenge. That's not what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
I think that if you have something and there's a question or something, they get a call. Hey, okay, have a look. Okay, you know what? It is a penalty. I didn't see it from where if you're adding 15 minutes of injury time on at the end of the game, it takes away the game.
Sure it is.
You know what I mean? So
Sure. No.
So-
I'm not a fan. I don't think that
Jay,
there's
did
a
you
problem
see
saying that.
Italy, U20 World Cup? We scored it to make it 1-1. I can't remember who we played. Who won the U20 World Cup? The guys.
I watched the
It was
U21.
no.
I
was it?
didn't see too much.
Ukraine.
Of the
Ukraine.
The Ukraine.
So the guy's 6
Ukraine.
foot. Oh, here. I'm gonna go up the moment. He was 6 foot. He was 6 foot. And the Ukrainian guy was small. I know it's hard to believe that an Italian was taller than the Ukrainian defender, but it was.
Yeah.
So, anyways, he got the ball and he put his elbows up, and he controlled the ball into the side corner kick. Gorgeous goal if you want to look it up.
Mm-hmm.
And the VAR, they did this, the symbol,
Yeah.
and they said it wasn't allowed because he elbowed him. But I mean, it could have been, in my opinion, not to just. I think it is what it is. They lost.
Because he was bigger than the other guy, maybe.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
He
Do you
was
know what I'm trying to
physically
say?
stronger.
So I mean, it can appear to be, again, going back to that skill. As a ref, you got the tone of the game. You're in it. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's a
Yeah.
skill. To
It
be
is
a good referee, it's a skill. That's why the best referee coaches the Champions League final, the World Cup final.
That's
The
right.
best ref sees it. I'm the best ref.
Sure.
So you're understanding the game. You're letting things go. You're understanding that the defense is small. You're understanding that defender for 90 games, that offensive player puts his hands up, and that's how he does
It's-
it. But 9 times out of 10, it's not to elbow the person. It's just the way he plays.
right.
So is that a foul? What I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
That's what the 8 cameras don't understand.
That's
and
right.
that's why you
Well,
take
they're
away
going.
that.
They're
Dude,
going.
that's what I'm trying to say.
They're making
I
it
get
black.
that.
They're making it black and white. Sometimes if you have
Black and white, correct.
if sometimes if you have a referee who has played the game at some level,
Of
maybe
course.
he understands what the attacker is going through, understand what the defender is
That's
going
right.
through at that time.
Right.
He can make a discretional decision. Okay.
Yes, and
However,
100%.
because now they make it black and white, no, by the law, section
Right.
5, sub rule, etc., you got a yellow card
Right.
or you got indirect free kick. That's what they're really trying to make things in all sport, trying to make things
All
black and
sports,
white.
yes, because it's business, right? It's a lot of investment, yeah.
It is. Okay, boys. Now's the moment of truth. I want, and you don't have to agree on this because I'm going to put an image. I like these 11s, these greatest 11s from Windsor. Because I like to add them up. I like to look at the pictures. I like to look at so and so's thoughts. But I like it as a theme. And for your theme, it's pick the best starting 11 of Italo-Canadians. Now you guys can go separately or you can go together. It's up to you. Either way, I'm putting a graphic up on the Twitter site.
And they
Have to be Italian.
Wow.
So Dom's too humble to say this, but let's just say right off the bat, your goalie's going to be Dom.
Well, I don't know. We don't have to say that.
Look, okay, wow. I think it should be based on we should try to maybe get some different generations in.
So let's
Okay.
look at all the
Because-
goalies, 80s, 90s, 60s, 70s, right? Yeah, I mean, but I heard the best one in the 70s was Greek. It was Vanifers. I heard.
Really?
Yeah, I heard
Yeah, I can't go back
legendary
that far.
stories about Vanifers. Unbelievable
Where,
stories.
where he,
He's still
I'm sorry,
alive.
Yeah, he was the owner of the penalty box. I think hence why he called the penalty box.
He owns it?
was, Yeah, he was the owner.
I heard
Uncle
Sarapa.
Eddie said it was
Sarapa was a Serb, was a
unbelievable.
goalkeeper. It was a good goalkeeper too.
Who?
Sarapa from the Serbs was a good goalkeeper too.
Was he?
That's what I heard. Yeah.
I
Yeah, I can't go back that
My,
far.
my Uncle Eddie and my Uncle Steve, who were around the Windsor scene after they immigrated and stuff,
Yeah.
they used to tell me stories about everybody. But they said Van Nefris was
Who does Jazz, Mr. Jackson?
about goalie. He
Yeah.
also mentions Van Nefris all the time.
Yeah, he was a good player.
Fearless,
You know,
fearless. And he wasn't a tall guy as well. He was just fearless,
I'll tell you what. You know,
I don't know what that means.
dirty. Just he didn't give a shit.
listen. I mean, I watched Dominic play. I got the opportunity to play with Dom with the Madonna Di Canetto final, Rose City one year.
Oh, the Madonna! Is that what we won?
Good old fashioned Madonna Di Canetto. Yeah, I know. You never yell at me so much in my life.
No,
but
I
anyway.
usually do that.
You gotta have that.
You know, but I had the and look, Steve Bonini, he won the
Yeah.
Ontario Cup
Beautiful
with
goalie.
Caboto in
Yeah.
1990. For me, and nothing against my good friend Dom or Steve or Dan Campana and Anthony Carabino. I'm trying to think of all the Italian goalkeepers in the city. Italo goalkeeper of the city, Canadian goalkeeper of the city. But a guy that I played with, a guy that I knew when I was a very young age, a guy that I watched, a guy that trained our team when I played with Caboto under 17 or something.
Can I guess Vince Agostini?
Vince Aliberti.
Oh, Aliberti. Sorry.
You're probably talking Rob Agostini.
Yeah,
from
Rob
Windsor, yeah.
Agostini, sorry.
Yes,
I
I
yes.
remember Roma.
But and yeah,
He's good.
yes. It's
I remember
maybe
that.
it's because I know Vince personally,
Uh-huh.
and I know that the guy's crazy and his work ethic. you guys remember Vince Aliberti?
I remember
Vince,
Vince.
I know
Okay.
Vince very well.
He
kid.
was he was involved with it was an Ontario the Ontario team or the Canadian team at the time as well. He was going up and down. Vince was a good friend of my cousin Diano, and I got to know Vince very well. And I got the opportunity to play with Vince probably when he was about 37, 38. I just, like I said, I played with Dom as little bit as I did. I never got to play with Steve because he was a bit older than me. Dan Campana was at St. Joe's High School, helped coach a little bit when I was there.
It was good.
Dan was a good goalkeeper. Anthony Carabino, I know very well, but I think, for me, my opinion, Vince Aliberti, I seen the guy knock people out. I seen the guy, we're training at for the Foglar, and the guy with the baseball bat come up to him, and he just said, "What are you going to do?" And the guy with the baseball bat he got scared and he ran away. Like, I just never seen craziness like Vince Aliberti. With all due respect, and don't get me wrong, top class here and everyone else that I mentioned, it just, you gotta. Okay.
Not
No,
bad.
I'm just
I
saying.
like listen. Soccer is the most subjective sport in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the opinion, the honesty. I remember Vince Alberti
Yeah.
teaching Mark Brosley how to be a goalie.
Yeah, Mark was pretty good too.
Mark was next to you. I would say he
Mark
was a
was a good
strong
goalie.
second.
Huh?
Mark was a ridiculous goalie, and in a center, it wasn't that bad either. He was good when he was focused.
Yeah.
Very good. So
There was there
okay,
was a few good keepers.
Number
I think
two.
You had to be in Windsor.
oh, any good team.
There was a lot of good goalkeepers.
Numero due, right fullback. Oh wait, whoa. Sorry. What are we
your
playing?
team. You
No,
do his
Okay,
team.
you do your team, and then we'll do Roma's team.
Yeah.
You got to tell us first 4-4-2, 4-3-3. You gonna go Catenaccio with a 5-3-2 and a libero? What are you doing?
What do you love at that cut?
Oh, I don't like it. It's anti-football.
You guys are hilarious. That's all Italy's known for, the Catenaccio.
No. In the 60s and 70s, it was Catenaccio. In the 80s, it was just cynical.
Do you know some of the forwards we produced?
Phenomenal, but do we?
Phenomenal. The world's
but-
ever seen.
but-
and all we get talked about is Catenaccio.
I'll tell you
Because
what.
we've had great defenders.
Yeah, but
Actually,
the
we've
rest.
had. Oh wait, let me finish. We've had great teams
Yes,
and great players.
midfielders, everything. When
But
Italy won
always
it in
is
82,
Catenaccio. Haters.
no. When Italy won in 82, it was not Catenaccio. When they won it in 2006, it was not Catenaccio. When they were at their worst, for me, you'd only see the best.
We survived real bad.
No, but everybody survives if you're big and good, right? Argentina's a shit show right now, but they're going to survive. You would see the best Italy if the other team scored on them in the first 5 minutes to the neutral, because the neutral watching it would see all the best talent that Italy gets to show now instead of zone defending, sucking the game out. Because kids go watch a game not to see zone defending. They go for fantasy. They go see Totti. They go see Pirlo. They go see these wonderful magicians that will come around once every 40 years. But if you're Italian, I know you want to win. But your victories in 82 had Bruno Conti, had Tardelli, all these great attackers, Graziani in midfield workhorse. And then in 2006, some of the goals Italy scored against Germany in the semifinal were amazing to see. But that wasn't done with a Catenaccio mindset. The Catenaccio mindset for me, invented by the Argentinian guy Helenio Herrera,
Inter Milan coach.
by Inter Milan, and I think that's what gave the neutral a bad taste of Italy. Because Italy's capable of so much more.
No, but-
even in 94. 94, they weren't playing Catenaccio. They're beautiful to
No,
watch.
but Rob, the game.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say. Where do you see him play Catenaccio?
That's what I said, the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, okay, but
So he's talking about generational.
It's just where they still talk about the Catenaccio. I haven't seen the Catenaccio in like
No,
30 years.
exactly. So
I mean,
but Jay's saying generational, right? So we're saying formation, no Catenaccio. I'm saying don't do Catenaccio.
No,
What I'm saying
no.
is we get where you guys still talk about the 60s and 70s, but I think we.
I'm joking. It's a
But not
jest.
just you, but I mean.
Yeah,
it's
Here,
the-
what I'm trying to say is this, right? You talk about Italo-Canadians and the greatest 11, in my opinion, and there's a lot of players I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't go back that far. I've had the privilege to talk with, like I said, my uncle and my cousin, and get to know of some stories of some people, and get to hear a rumor of some people and some and so I really think if you wanted to pick an 11, we should try to spread it out. Now, are you going to grab a guy from 1960 and say
No,
we
so
wanna-
your generation.
Let me define
You know what I mean?
any player you've seen with your eyes,
Yeah,
whether that's
yeah,
on
yeah.
TV.
Oh,
But no, I'm sorry. We're talking about fucking Windsor people.
Yeah.
So no, you have seen not Facchetti in the 60s and 70s, right? So just anybody that you play with in the late 80s in the backyard. Or no, but like in the 90s and 2000s, 2010s. That's what we're talking about.
okay. Only because when I seen your email and you asked that question there, I thought about the 61 Caboto team. I thought about the 74 Italia team. I thought about the 90 Caboto team, because you talk about Italo-Canadians.
Right.
I just was trying to remember some stories of what I heard from and people who I know, even though I didn't see them play, but they were probably older and seen them play in training or things like that. That's why I just thought I'd make a couple mental notes.
I put it to you like this. There's a guy from Toronto comes up to you guys, you fucking farmers from Windsor. We're going to take the best Italians from Toronto. We'll beat your fucking ass in Windsor. You give me your best 11 from Windsor. And then you got to think, all right, I got to pick my best 11 to go to Toronto and whip some ass.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All time, or who you seen?
I can think of so many great
all I'm
Italian
saying
players.
is I want to
in the
put.
city right
now. I did too.
Here's what I'm saying. All I'm saying is I want to give some respect for everyone over the last, say, 50 years that kind of played.
Oh, okay.
That's all that I'm saying. Maybe Dom, you.
Is this like the
I'll go
Oscar?
first.
Is this
I'll go first.
the award at the Oscars
Okay.
for the lifetime achievement?
I think. Okay. Back to your point.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna nominate myself because I don't do that. I always say if you wanna know if I'm a good player, ask somebody else.
If I were you, I'd nominate myself.
So I think yes, Vince Aliberti. He's one of two goalkeepers in Windsor to actually get a scholarship, soccer scholarship.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oakland University.
Okay.
So, in my opinion, unless somebody's played professional, that's the highest standard for a goalkeeper.
Who's the other goalie that get a scholarship?
I don't know. Not sure. So
Okay.
I would say him. Honorable mentions, I think Steve Vanini. Steve Vanini was a student of the game as well as, a lot of those goalkeepers, and Vince trained me too, and Steve Vanini as well. I think their soccer intelligence, they're very
High.
technically good, and their soccer intelligence is high. They understand the game.
Yeah.
They understand how to play goalkeeper.
Absolutely.
They understand that you can't punch a ball all the time. You got to catch a ball. They understand how to control a rebound. They understand how to distribute the ball.
Yeah.
How to come off your line, and how to be a leader and communicate, which is key. And I know these kids nowadays, they cry if they get yelled at. But that's a keeper. That's a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
You understand?
I hate playing with a silent goalie. I love it when you yelled.
Up, down,
Yeah.
man on, time, pass it back.
Get out of the way! I can't see the ball.
That happened a lot with me. So yes, and I would say Steve, and I think I haven't seen. I think Anthony, you see a lot of Santilli.
Oh,
you hear a
Anthony
lot of.
Santilli. Forgot about Anthony
He's
Santilli.
a great goalie.
Yeah,
Phenomenal
Yeah.
goalie.
I think he's more of the athletic type, right? He's more an athlete, but that's the
Yeah.
soccer players of today, right?
Yeah.
But I think those three, and am I missing any other Italians?
Rob D'Agostino is
I don't
another
know.
one.
Windsor Wheels, right? I that's ignorance on my part. I don't remember watching him.
I'm trying to think if we were ever ball boys for those games.
I would go to those games, but I can't remember.
When the three Brazilians were here, remember that?
Yeah, I don't remember Rob.
They were
Sorry.
down here in this basement. Those
Oh,
three
yeah?
Brazilian guys, yeah.
Your dad got on with them.
Oddly enough.
Yeah,
And Argentina and the Brazilians.
I know that's what I said. So I think Danny Pellin.
He's Italian?
Oh yeah,
I had no idea.
he's a very good defender. I remember watching him play.
Best penalty shots ever.
Yeah, he was cool, calm, and collective. Again, a student of the game. I don't think he was very fast, but he was very. He didn't need to be
Oh,
fast.
he could read it so
he
well.
could-
Dan Pellin's son Eric played for me at the Shuttle Club.
Oh, yeah?
And Dan Pellin said to me, we were talking one day, he says, he made a joke. He says, I've been this fast since I was 16 years old. I mean, again, I haven't seen Dan Pellin play because he's
I
obviously
remember watching him play with that.
And I remember watching him when he was with the Old Timers or something like that. And then I think Paulo Carlini
He
kind
played
of
with
said
the
something.
Nationals,
He-
John.
oh.
I remember. He played with the Nationals. My brother was like, well, that's why I watched this.
So he must have
Yeah.
been old. He's obviously old.
I think he's one of the older players,
Yeah,
but he
he was.
still
Yeah.
played well.
And I remember talking to Dan, and we were joking around. He goes, "Yeah, I've been the same speed since I was 16 years old." That's to your point.
Yeah.
That the smarts and the
He was money.
understanding
on
of the
ball.
game, right?
He was so good.
Right? Yeah.
So he's going to be your libero or your... How are you doing this?
She's. You know what? I don't. You got me
I want
off. I didn't
fucking
read your
tactics.
email. I was gonna do a 3-5-2,
Oh, okay.
but I didn't know it was all supposed to be all Italian. But that's okay.
Oh, I want.
And I would say he would be my middle guy.
Okay.
And then Anthony Mascaro.
Oh,
Fuck.
Anthony
And
Mascaro.
that's three lineups
I
now
played
he's
with-
been listed in.
I played. No, Anthony's a good player.
He's awesome.
Anthony's a good player. Anthony's. He gives it his all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go through, and I'm like that too. If the ball's behind the wall, you got to go through the wall. Okay, I'll go through the wall.
Yeah.
I remember
No
Anthony was
questions.
strong center back.
He was strong, but he was skilled as well. I like that.
No, but I mean, the center back got to have good presence. Strong in the air,
would
strong with
talk.
the
Anthony, and I'm not
Tom.
saying Anthony was. Me and his relationship was. It was. I said what he had to do. He did it. He told me what I had to do. We did it. There was an understanding.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we worked good together. So we did well. We did well with Rose City together. So Anthony Mascaro, Danny Pellin. I need another third, eh?
So Chad listed Grosso as one of the toughest guys he's ever come up against.
Yeah,
Are you
Renzo-
going
Renzo-
for more like finesse here, or are you going for?
Oh, come on. Yeah, Grosso was a good. Yeah, I'm going for more finesse, but Grosso was. He was a good guy, good player.
Mhm.
Shit.
There are so many. You think about it. So many.
There is,
talents.
and then Carl Morrow. He was good. I would have him on my wing back.
Yeah.
So 3-5-2.
Yeah, he's so good.
I'd have my brother John up front for sure, not because he's my brother, because the guy. I don't think there's more.
Yeah,
pure,
John's
I don't
awesome.
think there's
John's
a pure
awesome.
goal
He's a
scorer in the
natural
city.
goal scorer.
And in his later years, he played very well in the attacking midfield role too.
Yeah.
He held the ball quite well.
He did, and he
Um,
could tackle when he needed to.
Oh yeah,
He's so fucking tough.
John understood the game too, right? It's again, he was an athlete. He was strong, but he understood the game.
Mhm.
Right? That's what you know. When I'm naming these players, and I gotta be the come si gioca.
You have to understand what you're doing. It's one thing to
I
go
understand,
balls to the wall,
but
but you have to understand.
Come io vedo calcio oggi, how I see soccer today is it's react.
Mm-hmm.
You see the goalkeepers? Do you want me to talk about goalkeepers?
Yeah.
Everybody loves Gigi Buffon. I love him too. He's all reaction. He's an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Greatest goalkeepers to play the game: Tony Schumacher, Michel Prudhomme,
Oh, Belgium.
Luca Marcagiani.
Yeah,
Remember Luca Marcagiani? Look him up.
He came out.
Oh, come
Marcagiani.
on! Come goes off the line. He takes the ball in. He distributes.
Actually,
Never in a big save. Pagliuca is come a Buffon.
Marcagiani came out when Pagliuca was sent
Walter
off.
Zenga. He's like Buffon. Reaction.
Yeah.
Beautiful save. Reaction.
Yeah.
Positioning.
What about the blonde Italian goalie? He was on the 90 roster. Is it Tacconi or Tacconi? He had long blonde hair with a beard. Remember
He was
him?
a playboy. He was.
I remember him being in.
Stefano
Played for
Tacconi.
Juventus.
Yeah, that was.
It was a goal
He
play for
played for
Juventus.
Juventus. That's
Yeah, it
right.
was after Giovanni Galli. Remember Giovanni Galli, 1986, the goal, what he did in
Argentina's goal.
That was quite the effort.
Oh, Jesus.
You know, so when I look, so I'm not saying you could be, it's about results. You can be effective being an athlete, right? You can. But I like to see you being effective and being a soccer player. That makes sense?
No.
That's
Yes.
what I like, but what do I know? I'm just saying.
Yeah, but
that's what I like.
that's a recipe for.
That's what I.
success.
So you asked me about soccer players. I'm telling you what I like. Right.
Yeah,
So you've got.
You right? You know what I'm saying? I
understand what you're saying.
We got Aliberti as a goalie. We've got Calamaro as a left wing back. We got Mascaro, Pellant as the two center backs. We got John Roma up top as a front two, right? So we still need two holding midfielders, attacking right wing back, and a right center back, and other second forward.
I would say actually Italian. I'm gonna put. You know what? I like the. It's funny because I like Mario Liberti. I like the honorable mention Mario Liberti.
Sure.
Yes.
He was like a Chiesa type. Enrico Chiesa. He put his head down and he knew where the net was, and he was very direct.
Mm-hmm.
So Mario gave him the ball and he went right to the net.
Yeah.
Put his head down and right to the net. He was strong. He was a little undisciplined. And he could cost you a red card. He's volatile.
Talk a lot.
I think Steve Calcivera, he was another one.
shit.
Put his head down and got to the net.
What
He
a
had a
bull.
goal
What about
touch.
Dave Marzullo?
I don't.
I never got to see him play.
I don't know. No.
No,
I know he
I heard he
plays.
was really good.
You see a lot of the players. That's hearsay. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm just
Well, no,
talking
it's-
what
it's-
you saw. Me
Uh,
hearsay.
All I'm saying is that
Yeah.
yes, through hearing the stories or listening to the stories
Yeah.
of the old timers or people talk in the city, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
so that's all I'm.
So that's what I got. Yeah. So that's my honorable mentions. I
I
think.
do remember Steve Calzavera. I marked him a few times when I played with the Serbs. He was playing at Croatia, and even remember when he was playing at Teutonia. And he was probably in the mid-30s or so, and he was still.
He was so
Steve
fast.
Calzavera he scored a goal anywhere. You know, he was.
What a
I don't know
shot.
him personally, but I always admire the way he played. I remember one night I was at a bar downtown, and I seen him. He was sitting there, and actually it was my cousin Diano's bar. And I went there to talk to him, and he looked at. I said, "I just got to tell you, you know, I never seen such a goal scorer like you." And he looked at me like, "Why don't you get the fuck out of here, kid?" So, you know, you know.
He had the best hair, I remember.
Yeah, he had really nice hair. Yeah. So it was.
But he formed a good partnership with John on the FC Nationals team.
Yeah, they did.
That was a stacked team. The Pato's, Solomon, Dunne. Remember the guy from Africa, Solomon? And then they had
so.
Calzavera, Johnny, Dave Flay up front.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they were stacked.
They were. I know. No, I think they were a good team.
But Liberti, remember that game he played against Thunder Bay Juventus? How good he was?
Which game was that?
That was when we won it. Like he was just flying.
That might have been a Sault Ste. Marie because I think
Sault
I was
Ste.
there.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
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 That was Sault Ste. Marie. What
Yeah.
a game he played.
Yeah. Mario Lamberti. Yeah.
And Mariani had a phenomenal.
You know, Dave Mariani. Notice another with Dave Mariani. Dave Mariani. I remember playing with him with Caboto. Like we were called up with. Mario Tobietti was the coach of Caboto. It was A or B. I don't even know. It was a men's team, and I remember going to play up with Caboto men's team quite a bit. When 15 or 16 years old, and Dave Mariani was playing with the men's team, and I remember, oh my God, this guy's. He's just such an intelligent player.
Soft touch.
You know, just.
Yeah, you're right.
This a really good player. Everything he thought of was just the right decision, and he was just a good boy. Really good
Mariani?
boy.
Yeah.
Mariani. Dave
Yeah,
Mariani.
Mariani is a
nice
good
guy to play with.
You're welcome, Dave Mariani, if you're watching this.
But even
I
Dave-
don't know if anybody's watching this.
No.
But
I
if you
just
guys are.
now that we're thinking about it, right? There's so many players you can really
I remember he was playing with us and he got this fucking injury. It was like he got fucking rocked. It was like a spleen, a bruised spleen or something. It was
Really?
It's terrible.
Oh,
I remember Windsor Stadium. But yes, you're right. You know, Mariani was the Rose City team. He was such a pivotal.
Yeah.
He's a role
It
player.
was so important.
He's very important. I think that team or that position or that role really his kind of really
Yeah.
blossomed. Really took that.
He played
that
wingback too on that Ontario Cup run.
Yeah.
He was everywhere. He
was
played
a
in
good-
the middle.
so
He played in the wingback.
I would give Mariani props.
Yeah.
I'm sure there has to be some, defenders too, for sure. So Mariani,
Are you putting Marion
Morrow.
like
I'll put
Terry
him in the mid.
Cortrista, like number 10?
no. Fuck.
No.
We gotta have somebody else, no? What do you think?
see.
Thinking of all the great attacking Italian midfielders in the city,
I'd even maybe put my brother there and then put Calcio and Liberti. That's what I would do. I'd put my brother there, Johnny, and Calcio and Liberti up front.
that's rock
Right.
and roll.
Yeah,
up top. Yeah, I like that. That's a thorn in the.
John, you gotta take one for the team on this one. I know when you're 18 you would never take that. But
So that's good. Okay, so we're missing a right wing back. We're missing
I could,
2 holding midfielders. No.
yeah.
Yeah. So important pieces to the puzzle there.
And another defender.
Yeah, and another defender. So right wing back, who can fly? Who's got a third lung that you played with?
That I played with.
Third lung.
You guys played-
there's always that player with.
You
a
guys
third
played
lung.
higher soccer than me. I mean, you asking me
So
what?
it was the same, Jay. It
Jay is
was-
the same.
Yeah.
We're staying. We're talking
No.
about soccer.
Yeah, no. I mean,
You know what? I would actually put maybe Pacheco on that left back, wing back.
And Calamaro on the
Right.
the right. That's good.
got it. You know what?
That's really good. Pacheco.
Freaking
such
Frank
an
Pacheco.
underestimated
I
guy.
went to school with the guy. I was good friends with that guy. I wish that guy would have played after he was in the 20 years old. He would have been just. He was so good in his teens, eh?
Yeah, he was good, man. He was good. So Pacheco, Calamaro, wing backs, the 2 holding midfielders. Your Pirlo and your De Rossi. That's
Those are big roles.
huge.
You think Diana?
Who was
would
going to Boca, by the way?
fit? You think my cousin Diana would fit
Yeah,
there?
you see that?
Fucking love
Yeah,
it.
that's pretty cool.
Oh, I love
I would like to see that.
it. I can't wait.
Surprised. He didn't want to play in Italy. Fiorenza wanted him, but he's like, "Fuck, I can't play against Roma."
I think it's a lure of the Bombonera. I think it's like a bucket list for some players. I just
Yeah,
want to go
for
play in front of those fans.
Listen, Romans. You see Romans that are born and raised in Rome.
Uh-huh.
Giuseppe Giannini,
Yeah.
Francesco Totti,
Giannini.
Daniele De Rossi, and Florenzi's. No,
Oh, Florenzi's
he's
well.
up for the system. He's the next captain for Rome. They will never play for a team other than Rome.
Yeah.
What about the rumor of Fiorenzi going to Inter? There were a lot of rumors there.
Florenzi?
There was a lot of rumors there.
Why
De Rossi was going to go there. I didn't hear Florenzi.
I thought I read about Fiorenzi.
Why didn't he
With
punch
Conte.
Ronaldo in the face, Florenzi?
What's that?
Yeah, but he kind of apologized after, didn't you see? His quick apology.
Oh,
He kind of wanted to, don't you think?
I think the whole world wanted
Oh,
him to
that's
punch
true.
him.
That's right. That's right. The last game.
When Ronaldo's like this.
Yeah,
like
and
that.
he
If
went
I
like
was
this with the
Florenzi.
hand.
We beat him 2-0.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And Florenzi
Beat
scored.
that guy.
Fiorenzi scored.
Florenzi scored.
Yeah, he did. He kept his head, but
That's the best kind of revenge, wasn't it?
I suppose so. But, oh man, I wouldn't get him to do that.
Yeah, but Rob, you're talking like a fan, right? I know.
You're right.
You have
I'm
got,
talking
it's
like a
good
fan,
He did. He
but-
did what he did, right?
Yeah, but I think I'm talking with my heart, obviously more
Yeah.
than my brain. But I just wish somebody would clean that guy's clothes.
You don't like him, eh?
I think he's phenomenal. I think he's up there, arguably one of the greatest players who's ever played the game.
Yeah.
I hate his attitude. I hate what it does to kids. I see kids in the under 10 league in Windsor. They score a goal, do a celebration. I want to slip my wrists. I hate it. And it's a tap in. It's a little goal, and they go do the Ronaldo celebration. The whole see. I want to puke.
Yeah, I like
like
Ronaldo,
it.
actually. I think he's not as arrogant as people think, but maybe.
I think he's more down to earth, like you said, than people think. I really do think that. I think the guy works his ass off.
Yeah.
I really do.
Rob, like people, you gotta understand where people come from, and I don't. But I'm like, these people, they're not like me, you or Jay. And a minute they're more to the farm, more to the farm.
They're
These guys
hungry.
exactly.
They're hungry for success, and I love that.
And he got it. And every time he scores, it reminds him of what he
Sure.
fucking overcame. So
Sure
you
it
know what?
does.
Let these guys fucking do what they gotta do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
No, I get it. I just still wish somebody would clean his clock.
Yeah.
He'll always.
They can catch him.
Yeah.
Or fucking.
He's still fast, eh? Anyways, let's go back. Come on. We got to think of two holding midfielders.
Well,
Come on.
look, listen. I don't know anybody.
Diano,
I was going to say you don't think my cousin.
No,
Diano,
I don't
you
think so. I don't know.
I seen the guy only because you.
No, I know.
Only because I went to watch, and I always thought he was really good. You know.
Good. He's so nice.
He's a nice, humble guy. He controlled the game when he played. But again, I want to go with the panel here. I don't.
No. That's okay. I'm not disagreeing.
We're coming up with together, right? So, you know.
I got to give an honorable mention if you guys accept it. I don't know. He would break the starting lineup, but I thought in his later years, Vanilla did himself well. He can come on and do some things. I never saw him as a holding midfielder though. I saw him as more of a physical presence. Sorry, Mike.
Physical?
Yeah, because he could jump, he can run. You know, he could head the ball really well. A lot of people didn't know that. He can head the ball real well.
You know,
honorable mention. Like, I'm not saying this is your starting line. I don't mind, but I'm just trying to help.
I'm telling you the truth now, Rob. When I seen your email, I just tried to spread it out through give honorable mention to the 61 Kubota team, 74 Ontario Cup Italia team, and the 90 boys, and try to really spread things out, and not just grab who I seen play. So caught a bit off guard. You know, I mean, like I think. You know, Nando Girolini deserves a lot of praise. Ilario Bontorin, Alfredo Larteri,
those guys.
Raffaele Turci, and these guys.
Raffaele was a good player.
Not only Raffaele was a good center back. I mean, not only did they win Ontario Cup with Italia, Raffaele, but again, it's stories that I heard through the old timers and again, we never seen them play. We never seen him play.
No, I'm not.
You know what I mean? So we can't discuss. You know, we can only talk about.
You know, who's a good player? Remember Dave Del Duca? He was a good little.
Oh shit, he was a good defender.
Dave Del Duca.
Yeah,
Dave Del Duca was good.
Right? Remember he had all those concussions, poor guy.
Yeah,
Vince's son, the referee.
That's
Vince's son. Yeah.
You know, there's a guy that didn't play long. He was one of the Voyagers guys. You know, on that Voyagers team with Raphael Turkey coaching.
Yeah.
He played. He stopped after high school. I don't think he was just into soccer, but he was a really good defensive midfielder. Joe Morone.
See, I don't know.
Joe Morone. Anybody you talk to at the Voyagers will tell you.
Yeah. See, there's a lot of.
He was real good, tall guy, and he was defensive midfield. My brother was attacking midfield. He kind of complimented one.
Yeah, really. Okay, well,
he's a good player, but again, it's a difficult question. Two holding midfielders, if you're doing a 3-5-2 or that kind of thing, it's tough. It's tough to figure out. Every time listening
to
this
throw Mariani there.
Hey?
You gave honorable mention to Mariani.
I said Mariani.
You said honorable mention, but why did you have Mariani there? Yeah,
okay, Mariani. And the second one, do you go for a gate crasher or do you go for another thinker?
It's all sporadical. That's all.
You pick. I don't know.
I mean, if Andrew or Dave Jellick were Italian, they would fit in there really, really well. But you know, I'm just trying to think of the Italian boys, right? So,
I like the lineup. I love the front three. To be honest, the front three is pretty special.
I can't believe you didn't see Dave Marazita play.
I heard great things.
I heard great things about Dave. He played with Kubota in '90.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken,
I got it.
He played for Kubota in '90.
I just resolved it. Tony Faccineri.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Tony Faccineri.
Fach.
Yeah.
Fach is a great player.
Yeah.
Put him on there. Yeah.
Tony Faccineri.
Yeah, Tony Fach. He was calm on the ball. Yeah. Smooth.
He was a volatile, but
I saw him at the end of his career. He was a bit slower then. But Rick Lewis told me he's like the top 3 players he's ever seen in the city.
You know, I'll tell you what. I played.
Yeah, Fatch, go Fatch.
Faccineri.
Oh, I have a defender, Faccinano.
Oh shit! There's your left-sided center back right there. Anthony on the right.
Palin,
Fudge.
and Mascaro.
That's good. That's a good lineup.
Is it now?
Yeah, you guys did good there. I think that's a good lineup.
Good.
I want to pose that to Chad's. Because looking at Chad's versus Manu's.
I mean, Chad would probably fucking...
A red card for everybody.
Actually, I think we would challenge. But I think we're a little more...
Yeah. No, that's good. Well, guys, it's been an hour and 45 minutes of podcast. I think we...
And 3 bottles of wine.
3 bottles of wine and a lot of meat and a lot of cheese.
You stop saying me, at least say what it is.
Okay. Capriccioso, salami.
Homemade bread.
Homemade bread. Dom's homemade bread.
Formaggio.
What kind of formaggio?
Asiago.
Oh, I love Asiago.
You didn't even have any.
I know, but I love Asiago. I still dream about it. Well, boys, I just want to say thank you for coming tonight. I know it's a lot to get away. We both got young families, but I think we gave the people what they wanted tonight. A lot of charisma, a lot of good takeaways from this. And I think the Italians in particular are going to love this one. So again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Not to be too cheesy, too corny, but Jay, I loved coaching with you. I loved your mind at Vardar. I enjoyed hearing your take on soccer tactics, everything about it. I loved it. I didn't get a chance to play with you much, but coaching, it was a joy.
Well, it was an honor to coach your club, and I had a really good time. And I wish we had more time to continue to coach like that.
Would have been nice.
Would have been nice.
Yeah, I think it would have
we're
been
not
nice.
professionals, so it's always like a dream. You know, you got your everyday stuff, family and work, and when you get a chance to the hour a night or 2 hours a night, it's always a breakaway, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it was a good gig, that Vardar gig. Yeah, it really was.
And Dom, I think I've known you since you were 10. You were always on my brother's team.
Yeah.
I never got a chance to play with you until we hit seniors, but I
Yeah.
always thought, and I think I told Manu this, I said it to Chad White, I never saw a flaw in your game. I thought you were perfect, the perfect goalie.
Thank you.
And I love that. I always loved your attitude towards the game, and I think you showed that here tonight. You really just didn't give a shit about who you're playing against. You worried about your own game, and that was it. And I love that, and I think that's why people, everything I mentioned, love you both. And so I'm just happy that you guys came here tonight, and that's it. I hope you guys come on for the rivalry episode, the politics and soccer, the derbies.
Well, if
Clásicos.
you invite us,
Are you kidding me? Of course.
is
guys
this
invited
official
back.
invite?
It
or?
is the official invite.
Okay,
Don't
then
worry.
we're going to
Thank
come.
you, Ron.
No problem.
Okay, thank you guys.
Beautiful.
And again, Ron, thanks for everything you do. I think this is a great thing you do.
Well,
The
thanks.
Soccer community.
And I just want to jump on Dom's back there. Okay, I agree with Dom.
Shocker. Okay. Notice we came up with 2 teams and they merged into one. So again, thank you, boys. I love you guys.
It was a pleasure, Rob.
Thanks,
Thank
Rob.
you.
We'll speak
Thank you.
soon.